Well, I never thought Google would ever make another solid Android phone ever again, to be completely honest. I thought they were just going to peak at something like a Nexus 5 in my opinion, but guess what? I really do think, as of right now, the best Android phone that has been ever made is probably the Google Pixel 6 Pro. Now, stemming back, I'm not just like some Google fanboy like crazy. I love stock Android, but I pretty much owned a lot of the Android flagships that have came out that you can think of. The OnePluses, obviously all the iPhones too, but OnePluses, Samsungs, so you name it, the Realme phones from Xiaomi and all these other devices I've owned. But after picking up the Pixel 6 and then Google sending out the Pixel 6 Pro, I kind of do think that the Pixel 6 Pro is probably the best Android phone you can pick up. And it's funny, I'm not even just saying that because Google sent me this phone, because they did not send me the Pixel 6, and I actually kind of like the Pixel 6 more than the 6 Pro, but the 6 Pro has more features and all that. But the Pixel 6 is substantially cheaper than the Pixel 6 Pro, which makes me want to recommend the Pixel 6 more. Now, first of all, the very first thing I can tell you is that the software of the Pixels are always going to be top tier. When you're getting a Google Pixel device, that software is the one thing I love. And the only other manufacturer that I loved more in the software sense was actually OnePlus. But now that they had the merger with Oppo or whatever, and then they changed up their software now, that one massive feature of OnePlus has now been taken away. And this makes OnePlus, to me, go from like a 9.5 out of 10 from a phone standpoint, down to probably like a 5 out of 10 in my opinion. That software was the thing that was holding it up the most. And ever since the OnePlus 7 Pro, and even probably since the OnePlus 8, they haven't been able to make it back up in my opinion. And with the Pixel, I was thinking the same exact thing. Google just really didn't do a great job with the Pixel 3 in my opinion. Then the 4, they did an even worse job. They did a tremendous job with the Pixel 4a and with the Pixel 5, but they were reaching different demographics. Now with the Pixel 6 Pro, not only were they able to go and reach that more flagship type of experience, but they also went ahead and kept it at a somewhat cheaper price tag compared to the competitors. So when you look at this phone and you're comparing it to an iPhone 13 Pro Max, it's a couple $100s cheaper. But then when you compare it to something like an S21 Ultra, it's much cheaper. But this phone isn't really better than those phones in my opinion. When you look at the features, when you look at everything across the board, you would still think that this S21 Ultra is a way better phone than the Pixel 6 Pro. And that is the case in so many different features, like the battery life, with the camera quality, with the performance probably. Everything is better with the S21 Ultra right now. But the thing is that with the Pixel 6 Pro, you're getting that brand new Tensor chipset inside of it. So what is that Tensor chipset? Well, essentially, it's a brand new, chipset that Google has pretty much made, and it is pretty much the future, in my opinion, of Google. They're going to spend a ton of money, and they're going to just spend a bunch of just resources that they have to improve this chipset over time. So give you an example, with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chipset that, Qualcomm made this year, pretty much they're going to release it this year, and then that's pretty much it. The next year they're going to work on the next one, and so on and so forth. I really do think with this Tensor chipset, Google is just going to keep this first Google Tensor chipset probably for the next year or two, and then they're going to continue to keep supporting other devices with the same chipset. I can see them using it in some tablets, maybe in some, other devices, Chromebooks, so many things across the board, and they're going to tune out this chipset to make sure it's suitable for everything across the board, similar to how Apple has done with the M1 chip. I don't think they're going to ever put the M1 chip in iPhones. Probably they may do it. I made a video about it. They may do it. But right now, I think the Tensor chipset is here to stay, and that makes me excited about the, future of Android. On top of that, the software is it's probably the favorite thing on the Pixel 6 Pro right now, but the beautiful display on it is so good. It's massive. It can really pretty much do anything you throw at it with 120 Hz. Is it perfect? To me, it's really good, but there's been people experiencing a lot of fingerprint issues and everything like that. But whenever you get a new phone, that's what happens. So I think it's going to get better throughout time. And in my opinion, the battery life has been pretty solid on these Pixel 6 devices, including the 6 Pro. The standby time is great. I filmed a bunch of tutorials on both of these phones, and I haven't really had too many issues, and I've only really had to charge them like twice since I bought them, or since I was sent the Pixel 6 Pro a while ago. So far, so good. I do think from, like I mentioned, all the Android phones that I've had, the Pixel 6 Pro is the first one that's really kind of made me remember my Nexus 4. And many years ago, back I think in like 2013 or 2014, I had the Nexus 4, and that was my main phone for several years, or actually for like 2 years I think, and that was a very good experience. I missed that phone like crazy, and even though I still have it, obviously I'm not going to use it anymore. And the Pixel 6 Pro, although it's kind of in a different ballpark, it's really made me start kind of appreciating Google's lineup of devices again. And this is the closest thing I think they've ever made back to a Nexus 4. when I remember like the Galaxy Nexus, that was a solid phone. I remember the Nexus 4, the premiumness for that cheaper price tag, that was crazy. And then we got the Nexus 5, that plastic, then the Nexus 6, and the 6P was really, really good at a build quality standpoint, but it was more expensive, which really I didn't really appreciate. But now we're at a point where Google has made this phone so much more premium, but also the software is much more optimized with that new hardware that is optimized as well. So I think as of right now, this phone has a lot of growing to do, but I'm excited for it and I'm here for it. And I think the Pixel 6 Pro is probably the best Android phone, at least for me. Probably not for everyone, but for me, it's probably the most perfect Android phone right now. So I would love to hear your guys' opinion on it. If you agree or disagree, let me know in the comment section as well. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.